Shut up, shut up.
No way! I just sniped that guy with Dead Messenger. I am the grenade launcher king. As you can tell from the clip, we're going to be talking about the Dead Messenger exotic grenade launcher. Now, in my opinion, out of all the exotics in the season, this one is easily the best one. Yes, Parasite is cool. Osteostriga is cool. All the other exotics, those are fine. But Dead Messenger, in my opinion, is the best, and it's one of my personal favorite just weapons to use right now in general. But before we get into the review and talk about the catalyst, number one, if you like what you see, again, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another video. Number two, I do stream live on Twitch, twitch.tv/ItsDaveTVGaming. That link will be in the description. Again, I'm mainly playing Destiny 2. I'm trying to get back to my roots in the Crucible a little bit. I used to just hop in my community and do sixes for a couple hours. We're kind of getting back to that, you know, doing raids, doing some Grandmasters and stuff like that, you know, throwing that in there. But again, I do want to make it to where everybody can play these activities with me and just hang out with my community. And speaking of community, number three, I do have a Discord. That link will also be in the description. Again, like I said, mainly Destiny 2, but also a variety of other games in there as well, plus other topics like PC tech, anime, memes, whatever. There's plenty of channels in there. You guys can check it out. Again, like I said, link in the description. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about how to obtain this grenade launcher. So obviously when Witch Queen dropped and Season of the Risen started, we had to complete a couple steps, but if you go to Savathun's Throne World here, go up to the top right, you'll see this exotic mission right here, Vox Obscura. Again, it's the same logo as the mission where you get the Dead Man's Tail. But yeah, once you complete this, you will get the weapon, and then if you beat it on Master, that is how you get the Masterwork. Let's go over its perks. So its intrinsic trait, Trinary Vision, one-shot handheld grenade launcher. Projectiles release a fan of 3 energy waves on contact with the ground. This is pretty much the exotic version of what would be a waveframe grenade launcher. Again, perks wise, we have quick launch, high velocity rounds, short action stock, but its trait perk is the fundamental. So you hold your reload button and it can change this weapon's damage type, cycling in between solar, arc, and void. This is pretty much the grenade launcher version of what would be Hardlight or Borealis. And like I mentioned with the Masterwork, again, once you get it, you get the catalyst. You have to get X amount of kills. I don't know how many. If you use the weapon, you can get this done pretty easily, but it gains the Turnabout perk, which is a new perk that came with Witch Queen here. Pretty much using this weapon to break the shield of a combatant or a guardian using their super will grant you an overshield. So, I'm pretty sure if you break the shield, it has to be a matching energy type. I'm not 100% sure, but that is what the regular perk says. So just keep that in mind. But it also helps because you can just cycle through all 3 of what would be the shield types. First up, I want to talk about PvE. Okay. And this thing is just a beast, especially when it comes to ad control. Again, you have 3 waves of pretty much this wave frame grenade launcher here to take out so many ads. Plus, you can switch through all 3 shield types. So this also fits into your match game activities. Oh, plus I was using this with the Void specifically on this weapon with the mods of the season and Season of the Risen with the volatile rounds. And oh my gosh, that is just so fun as well. It's just the weapon is too good when it comes to a variety of activities. I would say the only downside of this weapon is that it does take up an exotic slot. And if you're in an activity where, you know, you have champions, granted, we don't have any grenade, you know, launcher mods this time around, but, you know, hopefully in the future we'll have something, whether it's Unstop, Overload, or Anti-Barrier. I have a feeling if they're going to do anything, it'd be Unstoppable again, but that's not going to be for a long freaking time, I have a feeling. But the one good thing, though, is that, yes, you have activities in match game. Yes, you don't have Unstoppable or whatever on this, but you can switch through all 3 shield types with this weapon. And it can help, especially if you're doing matchmade activities that are a little higher end as well. But if you have a coordinated team, you don't necessarily need this weapon. That would be the only problem. It's like, hey, why don't we put on, you know, other exotics, like, you know, something like Arbalest, which automatically comes with the anti-barrier, because typically when you have activities with match game, you also have champions. I think that right now is this weapon's only downside, is that it takes up an exotic slot and it doesn't have any artifact mods that can go on it. Other than that, the weapon is still very, very good in pretty much all activities. I just use this thing for fun, and I was just going through, you know, high-end activities with people, you know, the new matchmade thing for Guardian games, and yeah, I just have no issues with the gun. It does its job very well. It takes out, you know, all the minor ads. It takes out all the majors pretty easily. It's just, I got no complaints. Like I said, it only takes up the exotic slot, and there's no champion mods for it this time around. But the main thing I wanted to talk about here is the Crucible, because you're like, David, you obviously can't one-shot with this thing in the Crucible. You would be Correct. Unless they're weak, then you can obviously one-shot them. But being able to have this and switch between, you know, fire off the shot, hit somebody, it has a wide range. So as long as you shoot in front of you and they're there, it's pretty much gonna hit them. The guarantee of you missing is very, very low. So being able to launch a shot and then whip out something like an SMG or a hand cannon or something like that, oh man, it just makes for very, in my opinion, from the games that I played, I could pretty much sprint around the map, launch one SMG kill or whatever, and then continue moving on to my next engagement. You know, if I have transversal steps on, I think I do in this in most of the clips here, but holy crap, it was surprisingly good. I did not think it was going to be that good, but as you can tell from some of the clips too, and the clip in the beginning, I could launch this thing across the map too and still be able to like hit people. Oh, it was the dumbest thing ever, especially in Control. Like, if you can run to the other side of the map before the team takes it, you can launch it on the ground in front of them, hit pretty much every teammate, throw a grenade, shoot your gun. You could pretty much get a 6-piece right off the bat in a game. And, oh man, it's just too good. In my opinion, I think grenade launchers are probably one of the hardest special weapons to use, just because depending on which ones you use, other than Wither Horde, we all have to deal with Wither Horde, obviously. Hey, I'm going to drop it right on your zone and no one can touch it for, I don't know, like 10 seconds. I don't know. Dumbest thing ever. But with other grenade launchers, you have to understand it, the, you know, the arc that it launches at, its velocity. You know, if you hold down the trigger and then release, oh, is it a proximity one? Well, now you're doing less damage. You can't one shot. So there are plenty of factors when it comes into just grenade launchers in general. And I think people should try it. But I've seen a lot more wave frames in the Crucible as of recently too, just because as long as you launch it in front of an enemy on the ground, you're gonna hit them. You don't necessarily have to hold down the trigger or anything like that. You just hits them. This one just takes the cake. You don't even have to switch through the elemental types unless you want to. It doesn't even really matter, but holy crap. Just the effectiveness of this weapon in the Crucible is baffling to me. Now I want to talk about potential builds with this grenade launcher. So obviously in PvP, you just want to be able to have grenade launcher mods on. You'll be fine. That's not the problem. The fun thing that you can do with this though, especially in something like PvE, is that you can apply this weapon to your Titan build, especially if you have an overshield specific build, right? Because with Turnabout, as the exotic catalyst perk, break any shield, get an overshield, and I already dropped a YouTube video talking about my Devour Titan. Basically, you can constantly have overshield, have your grenade a lot, and damage resistance, basically not die, right? I already dropped that video. You guys want to check that out, again, go to the YouTube channel. That's not a problem. But being able to break any shield and have overshield, you can have offensive bulwark more often. Again, as long as you have an overshield, your grenade charges significantly faster, you have increased melee range and damage, and melee final blows extend the duration of your overshield. Then again, something like Bastion, again, is that pops your overshield. So even in potential, you know, mid to high end activities, you could add this weapon. Like we already talked about that PvE. I don't really need to talk about that, but then it's something to keep in mind where you're like, maybe I want more overshields. I don't know why you want more overshields, but that is one potential build that I was looking at doing with the Dead Messenger. I might hold off on it, but that's something that you guys can look into as well. Overall, Dead Messenger is easily my favorite exotic of the season, and I have a feeling its utility is still going to be able to be used outside the season, and especially if we get some artifact mods for it, like Unstop. If we get that back, oh, that's going to make this weapon even freaking better. But anyway, guys, like I said, if you like what you see, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, all that jazz. Follow me on Twitch, join the Discord. In any event, we'll catch you in the next video. Chee!